Okay, so you've had time to work on your worksheet. Now we're going to go into what behaviors need triage. Again, we talked about why we needed a triage system. You rocked that out. You're doing great. You've done your worksheet, what behaviors need triage. So let's discuss some possible behaviors that you had on your worksheet. Oh boy, you made a list. Oh boy, you made a list. I don't know which way you're going. But let's talk a little bit about something called observable and measurable. This is very important in the world of behavior and for having an actual system. When we're going to talk about behavior, we're going to try and remove some of the emotional context that goes with this as being a parent. So emotionally charged language, we'll try and minimize that, not to minimize the behavior or gloss over anything, but we're going to put it more scientific. If I say, well, this kid has a tantrum all day long, well, that a tantrum looks different from one person to the next. So what does that mean? Do they fall on the floor with their fists clenched, hitting the ground over and over again, screaming, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you? That's really specific. And I say all day long. I mean, seriously, that's really a long time. So other than when the child is sleeping, and if that's the case, then when is the child sleeping? All day long. The child wakes up at 7 o'clock in the morning and goes to bed at 8 o'clock at night. In between them, they're always having a temper tantrum. So now you see how it's really easy. We need to be measurable as well. So from 7:30 in the morning till 7:45 they had a tantrum. Then they took a break and we're not having a tantrum. So it's really easy to see really how it's working. Being measurable and observable also helps us because this is a longer process. There is no magic wand that I'm going to be able to show you. You can expect at least 2 months from the time you start using these techniques to really see a measurable amount of progress. And I know that sounds really daunting, but that's just the way behavior works with children. But if you are measuring it through the data charts that I've given you, you will actually be able to see a lot faster that behavior is lessening with those charts. So again, there's a reason behind it, and a big part of it is to help you emotionally get through this process. All right, so let's discuss some possible behaviors. This is a very realistic scene. I usually use parchment to take notes whenever possible, and I have some beautiful purple flowers. Purple is my favorite color, but not this color purple. It's kind of pansy color. I like deep, dark, royal purple. And of course, we've got some green tea and a perfect manicure to get this process started. So first, verbal and physical aggression. That would be one behavior that you possibly noted. Now, what is verbal and physical aggression? Very different from person to person. Verbal aggression could be someone shouting, I hate you, I hate you, I want to kill you, I want to kill myself. Physical aggression could be them hitting, kicking, spitting, biting. Maybe you don't think spitting is physical aggression, other people do. So, this is not saying that a right or wrong under physical aggression is where you categorize. We're just giving examples. We need to categorize somehow. Self-injury. Self-injurious behavior could be banging the head against the wall, again, making a self-injurious threat. I'm going to kill myself if you don't give me a new iPad. You could have someone who cuts themselves, refuses to eat. Lots of different self-injurious activities as well. Unique, and just because I haven't listed it here does not mean it doesn't go underneath that category. This is up to you, how you feel comfortable categorizing. Destruction of property. I might give an assignment. One of the first things a child might do when they don't want to do that assignment, and I've handed them a worksheet, they're going to start ripping up the piece of paper or the book that's placed in front of them. So I have a lot of tape made available to tape it back together, and then another piece of paper. So it does happen. You might have someone who starts trying to, throw an iPad across the room when they lose in the game and you've gone through many iPads. They might break your phone, when they want your attention. A lot of different things. So elopement, this is just a fancy word for running off when it's been made clear, according to you, that the child should not leave a certain area. So whether or not the child is understanding, like some children with autism may not be functioning at a level that they understand you've explain to them, don't leave this area. So when you're out in public, they could leave into many, many dangerous areas. Or they're at school, they don't like the math assignment, they leave the classroom and they run out the doors. That is a possible form of elopement. Or they don't actually leave the school, but they leave the classroom. They run to the bathroom. Lots of different things. Verbal communication deficiency. So this would be perhaps your child is nonverbal, or and again, like I said, in an autistic manner, where you see children that have developmental delays in their speech. But you could also have where they just shut down. Your child talks normally, but now they're upset, they're anxious, they're frustrated, and they cannot express themselves verbally. And so that's going to be another behavior that could be two totally different sides of the spectrum. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's just where you feel comfortable categorizing. Social skills deficiency. This is highly subjective, from community to community, from country to country, from socioeconomic background to gender. This is very, very specific to what you think is important, and you could think something's really important, or you may not think it's that big of a deal, and then your child goes to school and everyone's up in arms because your child does this, and you really don't see the big deal, but clearly you're getting a lot of phone calls from school. So again, many of these are very subjective. That's why when we do them, however you categorize them, put them into an observable and measurable behavior definition. Transition issues. This could be transitioning from one task to the next. So perhaps I have a child who is enjoying a great book. They're reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid or Captain Underpants. It's a great read, super fun, hilarious. Now it's time to do something that looks way boring and compared. It's just a black and white worksheet for math. Blech. So that's transitioning from one task to the next. Well, that could also be your child's on the iPad at home and it's time to eat dinner. They refuse to get off the iPad. Perhaps they'll bring the iPad and come to the table and they'll eat dinner, but they will not stop playing the iPad in order to eat dinner. They'll do both at the same time. So that would be a task transition issue. You could have location transition issues. So they have a difficult time getting in the car. They just don't want to get in the car. Or you can get them in the car just fine. You just can't get them out of the car. Or you can get them out of the car any other time, but not when it's time to go to school. You cannot get them out. It takes 3 people. It's a safety issue. There's cars moving everywhere. Again, so that could be very different from person to person. Task completion refusal. So I could have a child, I put a worksheet in front of them, and they don't do anything to destroy it. Maybe they don't even say anything. They just refuse to do it. So, and again, that could look completely different. That could be combined with, verbal aggression or physical aggression. Whatever it is, the task, they've refused. They've made it very clear to you they're not going to complete what you've asked them to do. That could be cleaning their room, doing their homework, doing any type of chore, getting dressed so that you could go to school on time, lots of different things. Again, no right or wrong. We're just talking here so that you have ideas on where places can be categorized. There's a lot of different other ones that I might not have mentioned right now. I've run out of parchment paper. So that doesn't mean that if I didn't list anything here, your behavior doesn't count. Every behavior counts. If it's bothering you, if it's on your mind, regardless of what it is, if anyone's told you, don't worry about it, don't sweat the small stuff, this is the moment to put whatever it is that's bugging you on that piece of paper. And it's okay. No judgment. It's just between you and me. It's cool. And now it's time for a mental break with a cute koala. Oh, it's so cute. I do. Don't you feel like sometimes when I'm a little bit overwhelmed, I feel like I've become a bit vulnerable, or I'm just stressed out, I feel tired and I want a nap. I just want to take a nap. So looking at cute pictures of koalas is super fun. Or, occasionally when I'm looking at cute pictures with my students, I have someone shout out that they want to see baby velociraptors. And I'm like, seriously, I can't even spell that. Just give me a break here. But it is good to take a mental break and relax. Remember, take a deep breath in and out. Your brain needs oxygen. Give it some so that you can make choices before you proceed forward. All right, so we had a good break. If you're ready and you've had enough of a break, you can step on over to behavior severity identification, the next lecture.